Okay, hi there, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Today for this flow, it's going to be a fundamental flow, so we'll be working on fundamental movements so we can be efficient users of our bodies. So these are just types of movements that we have to do every day with just daily basic chores that we have to accomplish. And these poses will help you kind of get everything loosened up. We're also going to be working some MFR, so make sure that you have a foam roller. And we're actually going to be starting right away with this. So go ahead, get your foam roller. And we are going to lay on top of this foam roller here. So we want the foam roller to land right underneath our shoulder blades. So once you get into position, go ahead, take your hands and then just place them behind your neck just to support your head here. And then let's just start to get centered so we can close our eyes and start bringing awareness to the breath moving in and out of our lungs. Notice if you're already feeling your back talking to you as it's being weighted down onto this foam roller. If it is, that's okay. Just breathe in through the nose. Try to relax that bit back there. And then exhale through the nose again. We're trying to get the nervous system relaxed. Let's take another inhale. And exhale. This time, let's go ahead and push in through our feet and then lift our hips up. So now we're just going to start gently rolling up and down the spine. So maybe like an inch or so up and down. Notice how that feels. We don't want to go super fast. Trying to keep our neck still, so don't be looking side to side. And still breathing in and out through the nose here. So just rolling gently up and down. We'll go a few more times. Still breathing. Notice what it feels like on the back if you've got any bumps back there. And then let's find a spot that's a little more tender than the others. And then let the hips lower down onto your mat. And from here, we're just going to start tilting side to side. So doing these little side bends, working in a little bit deeper into that fascia, that whole back line of fascia. Keep tilting. Let's do one more each side. Okay, and then from there, let's adjust our foam roller again. Mine is about right where it needs to be, so you might need to roll yours up a little bit slightly. We want it to be like right in the middle of the shoulder blades here. So we're going to kind of work on that area. So again, keeping the hands behind the head, elbows out, and we're just going to lift the right elbow up towards the sky, and you're going to shift onto that left shoulder blade. So you should feel right away. And then just holding here, making sure you're breathing. And then next, let's take that elbow and just start moving little circles. So drawing little circles with this elbow. So we're trying to shear this fascia back here, making sure it stays nice and hydrated so it can move properly. And let's do 2 more circles. And then bring it back to center nice and slowly, and then we'll switch sides. So now lifting the left elbow up to the sky, shifting over onto that right shoulder blade here. Notice if one side feels different than the other. Just hanging out here, making sure you're still staying in touch with our breath, especially working with the fascia. It's known as a sensory organ of its own. And so if our nervous system, if we're in more of that fight or flight, and if we're kind of like beating the heck out of the fascia, we're going to stay in that fight or flight, and it's going to stress our body out. So we want to do this deep breathing to make sure that we can get into more of a state of rest and digest, that parasympathetic nervous system. And then let's start making circles with that right elbow now. Feeling how that shoulder blade will move. You might need to adjust a little bit if your foam roller gets out of the way. I had to move mine down a little bit. And then 2 more circles with this right elbow. And then back to center. Now from here, still stay in the same position. Unless you need to, actually, let's move the foam roller down so it's at the bottom of our shoulder blades here. So right at the bottom. So not in the middle, right at the bottom. And then when you get there, bring those hands to the back of the head once more. And then we're going to inhale and then just let that thoracic spine just drop back to the mat. So a little extension here, keeping the eyes closed if you want, or you can keep them open. And then exhale slowly for some flexion, bringing it back up. Let's do 3 more. Inhale as you let it drop. Exhale back up. And it could be just a very slight little movement. So if you're just moving like an inch in extension and flexion, that's totally okay. Just move within your range of motion here. You don't want to force anything. Don't push anything. You know, if you're an athlete or if you're a competitor, you always want to push the body past its limit. But here, we're just working within our own range of motion. We're not forcing anything. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, letting it drop. And exhale, coming back up. Okay, let's go ahead and slowly just come off this foam roller here and then just set it off to the side. We're all done with it now. So we won't be using it anymore. And then come to an easy seat. From here, let's go ahead and extend the right arm out long and then just bend it at the elbow. Left arm is going to go underneath the right arm. Now maybe just the backs of your hands come to touch, and that's okay. You can stay here. Or if you want, you can try to reach around and see if that left hand, the inside of the hands can meet each other. So these are eagle arms. And you're going to feel an opening through the back of the shoulder blades here. Trying to draw the shoulders down away from the ears and then the elbows up. So shoulders down, elbows up. And then let's move through some seated cat-cows, keeping our arms in eagle. So we inhale as we just lift up and arch the back slightly. And then exhale, folding over. Inhale again, coming up, arching the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Let's do 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Bringing the spine back to neutral, and then let's switch sides. So left arm goes out first, right arm goes underneath the left. And again, maybe you're here, or maybe you go for a little bit deeper. Just listen to your body, work within your range of motion. Nothing is wrong unless you push too far. So shoulders down, elbows up again. Here we go. Inhale up. Exhale down. So keep moving through these cat-cows. Inhaling as you're moving up. Exhaling as you go down. Let's do one more. Okay, just releasing those arms. Let's do a few shoulder rolls here. All right, and then inhale the arms all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, let's twist over to the right. So maybe you look over that right shoulder. But what we want to do is we want to move through the spine here. So first moving with the shoulders and seeing how far you can go, and then let the neck turn. So we're not trying to let the neck dictate our movement here. We want to let the spine do the work first, all the way to the shoulders, and then we can turn that neck over that right shoulder. Still breathing. And then inhale, arms come all the way back up, moving through center, and then exhale over to the other side. Notice what the spine feels like here in this twist. If you're holding any tension back there, just try to send the breath so it'll relax. And then inhale all the way back up to center. And then exhale, drop the right hand down to the mat this time. And then we're going to reach with the left. Try to keep the shoulder down away from the ear and draw that left hip into your mat. So we're going into this nice side body stretch. Try your best not to let the chest drop. First, we want to just keep it open. Keeping those shoulder blades facing, or the shoulders and the collarbone facing forwards. Inhale. And then exhale this time. Now let's pivot the chest so now it is facing down towards the mat. Holding here. And then inhale, come back into that side bend first. And then exhale back to center. Inhale here. And then let's switch sides. Left arm comes down, reaching with the right. Keeping the chest facing forwards, drawing down through that right hip. Inhale here. And then exhale, let's pivot that chest now so it's facing the mat just as far as you can go. And then inhaling back into that side bend first. And then exhale all the way back up to center, and then release the hands. Okay, now let's come into a tabletop position. And then from here, let's wake up the front of the body a little bit. So let's let the hips drop down to the mat, and then we'll shine the heart forward. So a really high cobra here. Inhale. And then exhale, shift the hips all the way back to the feet, coming into a child's pose. And then inhale again as we come forward, drop the hips, really shine the heart forwards. Exhale back. Let's do one more inhale, coming forwards. Feeling the front of the body waking up, and then exhale back into that child's pose. Holding here for just a moment. This is a really good pose to go to really let the spine extend or elongate. And then if you keep the knees tucked in, it'll also help support the spine if you have any back pain. I suffer from back pain quite often, so I like to do a narrow leg child's pose when that's happening because it just gives me a little more support. And then let's inhale back up into the tabletop. Moving the left hand in towards the center of the mat, let's thread the needle. So inhale, the right arm comes up to the sky, and then exhale, feed it through. Maybe you drop down onto that right shoulder. And then once you get here, let's take the left hand and place it on top of the right. And then let's make this dynamic. So inhale, lift the left up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Let's do one more. Inhale up. Exhale down. Taking the left hand, planting it into the mat as we rise back up into that table. And then we'll switch sides. So the right hand comes into the center. Inhaling, left comes up. Exhale, feed it through, dropping down onto that left shoulder. And then right hand comes on top of the left. And then let's make that dynamic movement. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then planting the right hand back into the mat, rising back up. Walk the hands up, maybe about, 2 or 3 inches or so. Tuck the toes under. Let's lift the hips up and back, coming into our first downward facing dog. So once we get here, if you want, go ahead and start walking out the feet if that feels good for you. Pushing away at the mat. Spreading all 10 fingers nice and wide. It's okay if you want to keep your knees bent here. So if this is a more comfortable downward facing dog for you, absolutely, you take this option. Especially this is our first one of the practice. Heels can be off the mat, that is also okay. Let's take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale, walk the feet all the way up to the hands, coming into a forward fold. And again here, if you want to bend those knees, that's okay. Usually in my first forward fold, I have my knees bent. And then just let the head and the neck be heavy. Grabbing onto opposite elbows if this feels comfortable for you. And just let the whole top of the body just hang. And then on the inhale, let's release those elbows and then just slowly roll up through our spine as we come up to stand. Head and the neck will be the last to rise. Once you get here, let's inhale those arms, come all the way up to the sky. Exhale, drop the right hand down, and we're going to come into another side bend. So let's reach with that left. And then inhale back up to center. Switching sides, exhale, left goes down, right comes up, and we're tilting over to the left. Inhale back up to center. And then exhale, we'll swan dive down, hinging from the hips, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway, placing the hands on the shins, getting that nice extension in the back. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, let's lift the right foot all the way up to the sky, however high you can get it. Let's take some ankle rolls here. And then placing that right foot down towards the back of the mat, dropping down onto that right knee. Let's come into our first lunge. So inhale, the arms come up. Holding here. another big inhale. Exhale, twisting over to the left. Right arm in front, left arm in the back. Think of hugging all of the muscles in towards the midline here. Dropping that left hand down now. And then inhale, the right comes up. So a little twist in a side bend. And release back into just the twist. And then bringing those hands down to the mat. Let's heel toe that left foot out to the edges of our mat. Coming into lizard pose. So this will be a nice little hip opener for this left hip. Hanging out here. If you want to get a little movement, you can rock side to side if that feels good to you. And then finding stillness. Let's heel toe that left foot back in towards the center. Planting the hands down. Bringing that left foot back to meet the left, or just bringing it back, and then tuck those toes under. Let's go back into the downward facing dog. Walking those feet out again. Noticing if the left hip feels a little different than the right. Inhale as we walk those feet up to the hands, coming into that forward fold again. This time let's clasp the hands behind the back. Really drawing those shoulder blades together. Holding here. Releasing those hands back down. Let's inhale as we sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms touch, looking up. Exhale, hands come through heart center. And then inhale all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold, back down. Coming into that forward fold again. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, let's lift the left leg up. Taking some ankle rolls here. Then planting that left foot down towards the back of the mat, dropping down onto that left knee. When you're ready, inhale, those arms come up to the sky into our low lunge. Trying to lift the ribs up and out of the belly. Inhale. Exhale, twisting over to the right, so left arm is in front, right arm is in back. Taking a few breaths here. Drop that right hand down, inhale, the left comes up. So a little twist and a side bend. And back into just that twist, holding here for a moment. And then hands come back down. Let's heel toe that right foot out to the side of the mat. Coming into lizard on this side. And then again, if you want to find that gentle rocking back and forth, if that feels good to you, you can do that. Or if you prefer to just remain still, if this is enough for you, this is perfectly fine as well. And heel toeing that foot back into center. Placing the hands on the mat. Right foot goes back to meet the left. Tuck those toes under again, downward facing dog. Walk those feet out. And then inhale as we walk our feet all the way up to the hands again, coming into another forward fold. Then sweeping the arms all the way up to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Let's go into a balancing pose now. So we'll just ground down through this right foot first. This is tree pose. So there are 3 different ways that you can do it. If you prefer to do a little kickstand, you can do that. Or left foot goes to the inside of the calf. Or if you can go a little higher, avoid the knee. So no knee, taking the bottom of that left foot towards the inner part of the thigh, and then really pushing through the heel. Holding here, maybe your hands come to heart center, or if you want a little more of a challenge, you can reach them up to the sky. Making sure you're still breathing. And then with control, let's just release that left leg back down to the ground. And then we'll switch sides, so ground down through the left. Really make sure those toes are planted into the mat, and then find where you want this right foot to go. Whatever option you want to take works for you today. Gently release that right foot, back down. Okay, so let's go ahead, step to the top of our mat again. Let's take our feet wide, and then we're going to sink the hips down into Malasana, so a little yogi squat here, just a transition to get down onto our back. You can hang out here for just a moment, or let's just go ahead and lower down onto our mats. We're going to come into bridge pose, a little back bending, one of those fundamental movements. Placing the feet into the mat. Hands will just be resting next to you. On the inhale, pushing through the feet, lifting the hips. Come up. Holding here. And slowly bringing those hips back down. Let's do another one. So inhale, come up. This time, if you want, you can take the option of clasping your hands behind your back and rolling up onto those shoulders. So it's a bit of a deeper back bend here. Keeping those glutes engaged. Making sure you're still breathing. And then if you are in the little bind, go ahead and release that. And then start to roll the spine back down onto the ground. Let's do one more. So take whatever one of those options you want to here. So inhale, lifting those hips. Holding. And exhale, coming back down. And then let's just windshield wiper the legs here. It's always good after a back bend to do a few gentle twists. And then find stillness. We'll take another pose, one last pose before our Shavasana. So we'll just extend the legs up to the sky. For legs up the wall. Now you can stay here, or you can move into a shoulder stand. So if you want to take the shoulder stand option, it's really important to make sure that the neck stays still and you're not looking side to side. So if you do take this, make sure you're not looking up at the TV as you are in the shoulder stand. So what you'll do is you'll just lift the hips up, taking the hands to the sacrum for support. And you're just going to see if you can get those legs up to the sky. Keeping the neck still, making sure that you can still breathe in this pose. And again, you don't have to take shoulder stand if you don't want to. If you prefer to stay in just this easy, relaxing, restorative legs up the wall, this works too. And then wherever you are, let's just slowly let those legs come back down to the ground. If you are in shoulder stand, you'll need to take a counter pose. The counter pose is called Matsyasana or fish pose. So take those hands, sit on them, and then you're going to push through the elbows, lifting the chest up off the ground and the head, and then let the head drop back as the throat opens. So this is a counter to let the chest and the throat be open after it was just closed. And lowering back down. Let's go ahead and find our final resting pose here. So our Shavasana. You can just let the arms and the legs splay out. Lately, I've been liking to just plant my hands on my belly for some reason. But you can lay however you want to here. Letting the breath return back to its normal rhythm. Allowing the spine to just offload on the mat. And then just feeling yourself being really heavy. Letting everything go. Letting all of those muscles that think they need to be working now, just let them relax. If you have music on, just listen to the music. Stay here as long as you want. I will leave you guys here in Shavasana.